Begi Azadi, woman, life, freedom. This is the call we hear around the world as brave Iranian women dedicate their lives to fighting for freedom, for human rights, and for equality. The revolution itself started by the actions of Jina Mahsa Amini, one brave woman in Iran, and that is the definition of extraordinary heroism. Since then, it's been carried out by women around the world, undeterred by the mullahs of Iran's ruthless regime's threats of torture, imprisonment, and death. After 6 months, the revolution's heart beats strong. And on International Women's Day, we are reminded of the immense courage of the countless women who have committed themselves to causes like the revolution and causes like freedom and liberty across the globe. We are reminded that strong, passionate, dedicated women can and will change the world.
That's right.
So may we know them, may we raise them, may we be them.
On International Women's Day, Canadians across the country come together to celebrate incredible women who build this country and who have built it over the centuries. Whether it's fighting for civil rights like Viola Desmond or leading Canada to gold medal glory like Christine Sinclair, women have played an essential role in crafting our story. I think also of lesser known, but equally important, people like Tracy McDonald in Nova Scotia, who dropped out of high school, but then returned and succeeded and now dedicates her life to helping similarly disadvantaged women. I think of the mother who had me, the mother who adopted me, the wife that agreed, for some reason we don't understand, to marry me, and of course the daughter that makes my life so much worth living. Every day, in every way, there is more work to be done to improve equality and opportunity for women. But today is an opportunity for all of us to thank the women in our lives who built our country and all around the world for whom we must fight to advance opportunity and equality. Thank you very much.
Today, the world comes together in celebration of International Women's Day. On this day, we recognize the social, economic, and political achievements of women. It also marks a call to action for accelerating women's equality. This past year has had a disproportionate impact on women, including an increase on domestic violence and sexual assaults, insecurity in the job place, and challenges of work-life balance for mothers, daughters, sisters, and caregivers. We continue to voice our concerns for those women whose voices have been shut down, intimidated, and silenced. Vulnerable women and girls who've been sexually exploited and trafficked, victims of abuse and crime. We fight for equality and freedom of speech for those protesting in Iran, and we stand in solidarity with the women in Afghanistan. We remind women and young girls today and every day that their dream is within reach and they are able to make a difference in this world. Happy International Women's Day.
Mr. Speaker, on this International Women's Day, we must repeat an unfortunate truth. The rights of women can never be taken for granted. We must remain vigilant. In many regions of the world, we are seeing gender apartheid, for example, in Iran and Afghanistan, and cultural differences do not make this any less serious. Even in the United States, the right to abortion has been reduced, and we must not take for granted that we may be immune from this in Quebec and Canada. The best protection against this type of thing is to see many women to politically engage and stand up for their rights. But we also have to unreservedly support the principles that protect women's rights by remembering that across the world, secularism is a good thing for women, all women. Women have the right to be everywhere, and the fight to promote and protect their rights is constant. It must be the combat of all of us every day. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, today on International Women's Day, I would like to honor the memory of a woman who marked the social and cultural landscape of my region. Elsie Refford was a rare philanthropist, recognized for her civil engagement. She is one of the founders of the Women's Canadian Club of Montreal, the first women's club in Canada, which contributed to free speech for women in the early 1900s. Born into a bourgeois family in Montreal, she became a world-class horticulturist and founded the Métis Gardens, which is our source of pride in our region and is internationally recognized as horticultural work that is unprecedented. Her book, Elsie Refford, 150 Objects of Passion, was launched on March 8th, and it tells her story that is so fascinating. Mr. Speaker, there is still much to be done, but to Elsie Refford and all women who have paved the way for our emancipation, thank you.
Every woman counts. On this International Women's Day, I'd like to have the women in my life be counted. I stand where I am today because of women role models and male allies. My Erin Mills Women's Council's strong leadership towards women's empowerment and tackling our most pressing social issues daily. My mother, my Bebe, whose support has provided me the opportunities and tools to succeed in giving back to my community. My BFF, Rima Zuberi, who is always keeping it real. Today, I reinforce my commitment to work even harder to ensure that women have the opportunity to achieve their full potential and that everyone benefits from empowering women and empowered women. Mr. Speaker, here's to strong women. May we know them, may we be them, may we raise them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today we are celebrating International Women's Day, and we have made progress, as witnessed by the over 100 women seated in this chamber today. Women across the world stand in solidarity, linked by a deep sense of gratitude and recognition for the courageous people who have affronted adversity for our rights. Today, we can be proud of living in a country that has allowed women to work and look after their families, put in place policies such as childcare, helped lift women out of poverty, and invested in shelters for women who are fleeing violence. According to World Bank, some 2.4 billion women who of working age do not have economic equality of opportunity. And this is also a question of dignity and opportunity. We must be vigilant in our world and national movements that try to threaten women's rights. We need to preserve what has been obtained for women, and that is what I wish for International Women's Day today. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, today, International Women's Day, I would like to take a moment to recognize the woman who has shared my life for 29 years. Thank you for being who you are, and to allow me to be the best man I can be. For me, International Women's Day is 365 days a year, and that is why I would like to underscore the work of nurses, teachers, mechanics, politicians, hockey players, policewomen, engineers, and all women who help shape our daily lives. Despite the progress made, gender equity remains a collective objective. As Gloria Steinem said so well, the human race is like a bird with two wings, and if one wing is broken, no one can fly. Please join me and tell the women in your life about the positive impact they have on yours. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, today is International Women's Day. I'm proud to be part of a government that has made and continues to make meaningful strides towards gender equality each and every day. A government which has legislated pay equity, which has adopted Canada's first ever federal 2S LGBTQI+ action plan, which has introduced a national childcare framework, which continues to work with survivors to end the national tragedy of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, and which ensures a gender-based lens is applied on everything that we do. Mr. Speaker, we've come so far in the fight for gender equality, but we can't stop here. Today and every day, we raise awareness against bias. We acknowledge women making a difference in the world, big and small, and we remind ourselves and those around us that all women, from all ages, all walks of life, have a place in every aspect of our country. Every woman counts. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Bravo. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, on this International Women's Day, we continue to be inspired by all women who shows us what it means to be strong, brave, and courageous, especially in the face of diverse adversity. Today, let us acknowledge what these women around the world have taught us, fighting for what's right and never giving up. From the bravery of the Iranian women in schoolgirls poisoned, to the resilience of the Ukrainian and Canadian women in armed forces, to the women's achievements in engineering, science, innovation, and other sectors. As we continue to remember these brave women today, I also want to thank the women working in healthcare, especially personal support care, and our frontline workers. During the Prime Minister's visit to Sea-Doo Healthcare in Richmond Hill 2 weeks ago, we heard heartbreaking, fascinating, encouraging, and inspiring stories about the resilience and compassion of our PSW workers. They love their job, and the happiness they see in the face of the people they care for makes them even more passionate about their job. Mr. Speaker, today and every day, we celebrate our women, their courage and bravery, their compassion and kindness. Happy International Women's Day, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.